Hi, this is RJ and I'm going to show you how to use RhinoCAM for producing files that are ready for cutting on the ShopBot CNC router here at Inworks. What you see here is the ShopBot template I created in Rhino, and it's set up specifically right now for a 2 foot by 4 foot piece of pink foam, which is 2 inches thick. You can see in the template here I have a 1-inch margin around with these little circles which indicate where screws are in the material to hold it down. This region down here is a 6 by 6 inch square that I will demonstrate how to cut out curves in. And then after I show that part, I will show what you do to post the file, to save it out on a USB stick and take it over to the ShopBot for cutting. So what we do here first is I'm going to zoom in and show you what I have. This is the top down. Go to the perspective view. So this purple box here is 2 inches thick. It's just showing my region that I want to cut out. The actual material, if I turn it on in RhinoCAM here, is shown by this orange box. So I'll turn that off for now. We know it's there, but we don't need to see it. So what I'm going to do here is turn off my stock box for now too, and turn off this other surface and projection curve. So what I'm going to show you first is the set of 2D curves that I have here, which are on the surface, and I used this 2D engraving option right here. So 2-axis engraving and a 1/4 inch ball mill. I set the settings for that, which I'll show you, and then the feeds and speed settings. Those are the only two things you really need to adjust, as well as just a few of the parameters for how deep you want to go. One parameter for how deep you want to go. So show the tool settings really quick. So you want to go in and define your tool settings to be this, the holder diameter and length, and the tool diameter and the shank diameter, as well as the lengths here. So use these settings for foam, and for other materials we'll change them, but for now use it for foam. Feeds and speeds should be set to something like this, speed 18,000, and the rest of these settings should be 60, 252, 30, 252, 30, and 30 in inches per minute. For now, set these these settings for pink foam. Okay, go and edit. Under the cut parameters, the only other setting I changed in this case was the cut depth. I changed it to a 1/4 inch and hit generate. Now we'll go over to the simulate tab and we'll look at what it looks like when it's cut. So you can see, as you'd expect, the tool followed the curves. So that's the 2D curves. So we'll turn on our surface, and basically what I did here was for the second projection, I took the 2D curves and I projected them onto the surface. So I'm going to hide the 2D curves so you can only see, hide this one too, this outline, so you can only see the curves as they're projected onto the surface now. So the tool will follow the same process, just different set of curves. So we go into our projection engraving, and we'll do simulate. So sort of ignoring that the 2D engraving is there. If I actually just cut it out, then we won't see it. Hit play. So we get what we expect. The tool's following the curves. Looks great. For this setting, you don't need to set a cut depth because we're just going to cut right to the surface of where those curves are, which is the top surface of this material. Not the top surface of the material, but the top of the surface itself within the material. So if I turn on the stock, you can see our surface is down in the material. The surface has a height of a 1/2 inch, so I moved the surface down a 1/2 inch into the material. So to get this out of here into something you can take over to the router and cut, you want to select your folder here for the toolpath you want to export. You could also select the setup and post it, but for now, with these operations, it's easier to just select each folder if you have multiple folders, and then you can export each one separately. So right-click and go to Post, and what you want to do is make sure the current post is set to ShopBot Inworks, and then save it out as something. So you get a SBP file. Let me do this again so I can keep my file name that it sets. And then you hit Post, and then you should see a file pop up like this. This is the actual code that you're going to put on a USB drive, this actual file. You're going to put it on a USB drive and take it over to the router to run. So inspect this and see if you can understand what some of the commands do, and you'll get a better understanding of what the machine is going through.